you again for doing this. This podcast is about your journey in music and how you got to where you are now. And we'll talk about your new song, Boys Do Cry.
Yes, amazing.
Very cool. So tell me, whereabouts in the world are you?
So I'm just outside of London. I'm in a place called Hertfordshire in the UK.
Okay. Are you born and raised there?
No, I'm actually from a place called Essex.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's just outside of London as well, all the borders of London. But moved up to Hertfordshire because it was just a little bit of an easier commute in, although turns out don't have to really leave my house these days.
Right.
But yeah, I love being near to London though, because it's probably is one of my favourite cities in the world. Where are you right now?
I'm in San Diego, just south of Los Angeles.
Oh, well, I would definitely trade places to be in the sun and to be enjoying the warm weather during this time for sure.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's been a little rainy here actually in the past few
Oh,
days, but
really?
I mean, rainy to us is like once every, 3
Yeah.
months.
Well,
So,
I don't really know what your situation is, but in the UK right now, everyone is in lockdown and can't leave their houses. So we can't leave
oh
our
my,
home.
oh
So
my
yeah,
gosh.
it's gone back to that situation. So yeah, we're locked down in our houses. We can't leave unless we do our 1 hour of exercise a day,
Oh,
and
wow.
go to get our essentials from the shops. So we're back to square one, unfortunately. Hoping that by the summer things might change. But yeah, that gives you a bit of context about what's
Oh
going
my
on in my life right now, which is just,
gosh.
you know,
I'm
bricks all
sorry.
around me.
Yeah, it was locked. I mean, it was really locked down here, and then they just kind of opened up things a little bit here in California. But
Right.
we just had major spikes in Los Angeles, and they had to send like the National Guard, and San Diego's just as bad. So it's like, I don't know how long this open, and that doesn't even mean it's open. It's like you can eat outside or like you can pick up food and like leave with it, but you can't like go inside or do anything like that.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. But we're rolling out the vaccine, and quite millions of people in the UK are getting their vaccines daily now.
That's
So
amazing. That's amazing.
crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, my parents were actually able to get it yesterday, so I was
Oh
pretty happy for
wow.
that. Yeah, because they're older, so I'm stoked that
Yeah.
they were able
Oh.
to get that. So hopefully, fingers crossed,
I
everything
can
is
see
good with that.
Coachella sign in the background. I'm like, we're gonna get back to Coachella.
Oh
Promise
yeah,
me
I
we're gonna get
know.
back to Coachella.
You've been to Coachella? I did read that you've been there before
Yeah.
for not for music though, right? For your fashion line.
Yeah, so I've been there. I mean, I've been there with makeup brands and different kind of brands to actually work with them alongside certain collections, and then obviously gone to appreciate the music as
Sure.
well, which is like my dream come true, mixing makeup and music. Like, what's
That's
better?
amazing. Yeah, that's
But yeah,
amazing.
oh, I love Coachella so much. I was supposed to perform there, not last year, the year before, on one of the external events that go
Oh
on.
yeah, yeah. They do those like outside ones. Sure.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it didn't happen in the end. So I'm waiting for the year I can go back and make it all happen. Hopefully, I'll be on the main stage one day. That's the energy I'm going to put out
You will be on the main stage one day, not hopefully.
there.
Well, so tell me, how did you get into music originally?
Um, well, I've always been raised like in a musical household. Where my mum's a single mother, but she loved all sorts of different music and was playing it all the time. She was a salsa dancer as well, so loved all of
Oh,
the kind
nice.
of, yeah, salsa music and soul and everything like that. And by the time I was, well, I was quite young. I was always very poetic as a child and writing poems at the age of like 7, 8, 9. And then by the time I got to the age of 11, 12, I started to sing my poems and turn them into melodies. I didn't realize I was
Oh.
really songwriting.
Hmm.
I just thought I was putting melodies to my poems. And then a few years later, I was carrying on doing that, actually songwriting. I went to college and studied musical theatre. And I thought, oh, maybe the West End, the Broadway stage is for
Hmm.
me. But I went to college and I was always the one that was going off piece, doing all the ad libs. I was the one that wasn't singing it straight. I was doing all of the extra tailing off and all of my own in my own way. And I just thought, you know what? I think I'm more suited to being a music artist of my own rather than
Hmm.
being confined to scripts, even though I
Hmm.
love the theatre. And I was still songwriting. and then happened to find someone that helped me along the way, and I was going back and forth to LA writing with amazing people,
Mm-hmm.
um, from the age of like 18 to well, early 20s. I was doing a lot of flying backwards and forth, yeah, writing in London, writing in LA. And at the time I was just doing any job I could kind of find that was quite like performance based. So I'd do stuff like go on promotional tours for PlayStation and be their sing-star singer and
Oh,
stuff
cool.
like that. So anything that was linked to performing, whilst I could just have the means to be writing, and the dream was to obviously release this music.
Mm-hmm.
The music industry was quite a hard field to kind of tackle, and nothing ended up being released in like the early years of me writing. And yeah, so then I started to put out tutorials online, because at my shows, or if I was doing anything, or if I was just meeting people in the studio, they'd be like, yo, what's your makeup, where's
Mm-hmm.
your outfit from? And then I'd just say, actually, I've started to upload little tutorials of how I've done my makeup on my Instagram if you wanted to follow. And I had no idea, oh, there she goes. I had no idea that it would turn into what it has done. So people were
Mm-hmm.
really engaging with all of the makeup content. And I was like, wow, I had no idea that people love this as much as they do. And I guess that kind of snowballed to the point where people started to know me for being kind of a makeup blogger. I don't really know what the correct term
Yeah.
is, an
Like,
influencer, a makeup blogger. I don't know.
sure.
But yeah, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that. So yeah, fusing the makeup with the music was my goal. But of course, when you're in the studio, you're writing original material, so I couldn't always put it out online, because
Mm-hmm.
you know it's not fair on producers that want to keep it under wraps until you can pitch it or release
Sure.
it.
Sure.
So
Sure.
that's kind of like the journey. And I guess now, by means of growing my platform through makeup and fashion, and then
Mm-hmm.
using music, it a few years ago it became the time that I thought, now is the time. I think I'd been on Instagram a couple of years, and it had spiraled kind of to what it was, hundreds of thousands of people. I don't even know, maybe a million at that point. And I was like,
So
this
crazy.
is the time. Yeah, this is the time that I need to be letting people know about the fact that I've been a music artist all my life,
Mm-hmm.
and this is just something I've dabbled in. Music is something that's like, in my blood. Like makeup it comes with it. But being a
Mm-hmm.
music artist, I guess it's just part of the artistry, isn't it? You see all these artists, and it's like, if you're a music artist, you wanna wear makeup, you wanna stand out, you wanna wear a crazy outfit, and it
Mm-hmm.
all comes with it for me. And I'm just glad that I can finally show the world that more of my music side, because that's what I've been dying to
Yeah.
expose. Yeah. So
That's
that's my
amazing.
story.
Well, I
Yeah.
want to go back a little bit further. I want to rewind a little bit here.
Yeah.
So you went to college for musical theater?
Yes. Yeah.
So
I
did you
studied
have to
it.
like audition to get into the school, like in that realm, or did you just go and go? You want to try to
Yeah,
do this?
yeah, absolutely. I did a few courses throughout my teenage years, from short courses at really like expert colleges in London, to my 3 year long one, which was obviously led to my graduation and qualification, which was, yeah, had to audition for that. And then it was a small group of us for 3 years, like intensely training with each other every day, from drama to obviously singing, and the dance side as well. I
Mm-hmm.
loved all three of them, I honestly did. But yeah, so I actually trained in musical theatre. I thought that I would be graduating and going and auditioning for the
Like
West End.
Broadway, yeah.
Yeah, I did think that. I mean, that's what everyone else did. They
Oh
either
wow.
went to get a further qualification, or they just went straight on to get agents, and just auditioned. Some have been in amazing Broadway shows that I went to college with. Some are in all sorts of films as well, from like Aladdin, like the new
Wow.
Aladdin.
Oh
A
wow.
couple of my friends are in that as
That's
dancers,
cool.
which is really cool. Yeah, and just yeah, it was just something that I absolutely loved doing. But when I did graduate, I thought, I'm not sure if it's for me. I think I need to pursue my artist route,
Mm-hmm.
and that was what everyone thought at college as well. When when we were all saying, what do we all think we're going to be doing in 10 years time, they always said that they think that I was going to be a
An
music artist,
artist.
singer
Sure.
songwriter, you know. Yeah, they
You
kept
didn't want to
trying
stay
to
to the.
persuade me. Yeah, they're always like, "You'll be the one that wins the X Factor." Be like, "I don't think I'm going to win the X Factor."
You never know. You never know.
But no, it was never for me any of those shows though, because you could never sing your own material.
Oh, sure, sure. You had to do covers, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
otherwise, I might have auditioned for them. But who knows? I don't really know what the going talent show is nowadays. But
Right, me either. I don't even know those shows. Are those
I
shows still
know.
on the air?
Weird Masked Singer one nowadays as well. That's kind of a strange one, but
Yeah, I tried to get into that. Like my wife and I watched it, and we're like, I don't really. The like winners, the celebrities they would choose. I'm like, who's this?
exactly.
It's like you
Yeah,
couldn't get like Leonardo DiCaprio or some like
I
name,
mean,
right,
yeah,
like an
come on.
A-lister to get out of there. They're like, this person was on like an extra on some show. You're like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, but no, it's cool. I mean, I've loved the journey. I really have.
Mhm. Well, so you were writing songs. You said you were doing poems that you'd kind of sing little melodies to. When did you like put it to your first like beat or song?
Oh, good question. I always wrote my songs to my keyboard or piano.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not the best at playing the piano, but I was always good enough to figure out how to write a song, these chords, that chords. And I think the first time I actually actually had a song that came together other than in my own bedroom was when I was about 18. I think I went to the studio for the first time with a producer, and I just said, oh, I was really embarrassed actually because I didn't know how people really songwrite. I'd never ever wrote a song with anyone else before, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh, these are kind of like the things I've been writing in my bedroom. And he was like, oh, we can turn that into a song, you know. I was like, really? And then obviously it all came to life. And so when I was about 18, yeah, I started kind of going to the studio with a few people in London. And that's when it progressed to people hearing my music in LA. And they're like, yo, come over to LA. Let's kind of write some music. And it went from there. So yeah, it was
Wow.
amazing seeing like, I don't know, a song that I'd wrote when I was like 15 suddenly
Hmm.
become a real track. And what's
Sure.
crazy about that track is it never leaves you. But one of my first ever songs, I won't say the name of it just in case it comes to fruition at some point, but we're actually working on it again now to potentially release it, which is
Wow.
crazy because it you know nearly 13 years ago I wrote it, and
That's amazing.
it's like now 13 years later we're reproducing it and potentially releasing it.
That's
Such
super
crazy thing.
exciting. That's
Yeah.
so cool. When did you learn piano? I didn't realize that you played piano.
Yeah, I mean, I had a few lessons when I was younger, but I was that annoying student that was like, I don't want to read music. I want to play by ear. And they were like,
Right.
well, you're not going to get very far. And I was like, no, please, I just want to learn by ear. So they just taught me the keys instead of actually teaching me to read music. I was stubborn. I wish I learned to read music.
Well,
But
a lot of people, like a lot of big artists don't read music. It's all just off the ear or writing their own songs that kind of, obviously do something. But yeah, that's
so true.
interesting.
And some people that read music cannot understand how anyone can play by ear as well because they're so kind
Hmm.
of strapped to reading the notes. But yeah, I kind of learned when I was probably, I think between the ages of 9 and 13, was doing a few lessons here and there. But in the end, it was just me experimenting at my own kind of leisure at home.
Hmm.
Um, and then it just turned out that I was okay at doing all the chords. And
Hmm.
when I was trying to produce my own songs at home, I'd layer them all up and I'd turn them into a violin and I'd turn them into, the
Oh
beat as
yeah,
well.
that's
And
rad.
it's so funny because I had a little karaoke machine and I had the cassette tapes and you could press record on it. So I'd press record and then I'd play something and then I'd sing something and then I'd turn it over and then play it and then record on another tape and I was layering the track on a cassette tape.
Whoa. Yeah, you were producing real, yeah, like old school there.
Yeah, I can produce when it comes to really complicated cassettes, but I can't produce when everything is like there for you on Logic. But
That's really cool though. Did you like when you had these songs when in your teens, did you ever play out to anyone? Did you do any talent shows or anything like that?
yeah, I did actually. Funny enough, going back to the X Factor, there was one called the Essex X Factor.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and I sung one of my own songs. I sung a couple of covers. I think I sung Bon Jovi. I don't want to miss a thing as
Oh,
well.
that's that's random and awesome.
That was it was a bit random for me actually, but I think I really liked it because I could do this really high note on it or something. I don't know. But yes, and then I was putting out my music at school, so I did the Essex X Factor. I won the Essex X Factor. Couldn't believe it.
What?
And
That's
yeah,
amazing.
that
You're
was
like, I
great.
don't like to do, I would never do those shows. And then you win one earlier on.
No,
Oh, yeah, I forgot I
it was
won.
just more of a like a school thing though. Like
But
lots of
still.
people in the county. It wasn't, it's just like a small kind of talent show. But I still really
You
enjoyed it.
won. I
And
mean, that's
I won
cool.
it. Yeah, there were some really amazing people that took part. But yeah, I was always trying to look for a way to show people my music and to play it to them, and yeah, just to to sing and perform and to get my voice out there.
Mhm.
Um, and I did actually have a dream from a young age to write for other music artists, and didn't in the end pursue that as a job or anything.
Mhm.
But I have had some songs published by other artists before that have been quite successful.
Oh, that's really
Um,
cool.
so yeah, that's been quite cool. I didn't expect that, but when I loved songwriting so much, I thought, I wonder if that could be a route. And I realised lots of artists end up, I
Mhm.
was just learning along the way, and I realised, wow, yeah, so Ed Sheeran pretty much writes for everyone in the charts, like at some point in time.
Yeah, I know. It's
Like,
crazy when you really break down some of these big songs and start seeing certain names like over and over. You're like, who is so and so? And then they've wrote like 10 top 40 hits.
I know, yeah, it's crazy, but it's really, really inspiring.
Yeah, totally. So you got to go. How did you get into the studio the first time to kind of cut that first song with the producer that you met?
So that was through someone that I met just totally random. Like I was on a train and someone approached me when I was about 17 or 18. Um, yeah, maybe even younger. And they came up to me and they said, "Are you a music artist?" And or an artist? And I was like, "Oh, what do you mean? Like a music artist?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I actually do write songs, but you wouldn't know who I am. I've got nothing out there." And he was like, "No, I just get the vibe." And I was like,
Uh,
"Oh, that's random." And he was like, "Do you mind if I give you my email address?" And I was like, "No, I don't mind." He's like, "Send me some of your songs." And I was like, "Oh, okay." It was just so weird, just so out of the blue. So I did. I sent him some of my songs, and when I looked him up, I realised I recognised him. He'd been on TV, managing,
wow.
producing another album for someone in the UK, which was, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh! So I knew it was legit.
Yeah, it wasn't just some creep like, hey.
Yeah, I know. But it turns out I ended up working with him for a good 5 years, and I just said, I do write songs in my bedroom. I don't know how to get to the next step. How who's out there? I was in a little town, and I wasn't in London. I didn't go, even though I was at theatre college. There, it wasn't. I wasn't connected to lots of people. No one in the industry. I wasn't connected to anyone outside of that little bubble.
Mhm.
So that's when he put me in touch with a producer, and it, yeah, just kind of got better and better from there, really, in terms of writing and learning more as well, and realizing that the process obviously is unique and everyone does it in different ways. But I wasn't alone. Like everything I was doing, I was kind of doing right. So I was like, I know I'm on the right track with how I'm kind of writing my music. And then I think it was a year or two later, he sent my music to a few of the production teams in LA, such as the Underdogs, people that had wrote with Brandy, people that had
Wow.
produced for Chris Brown, Neo, Jason Derulo, all of like the urban scene, which I was
Mhm.
at that time, really listening to as well. And yeah, the next thing I know, we were going out to LA to work with them. And it's really funny because one of the producers was actually working, I think one of the years I went, and no one had ever heard. He was like, "Oh, no one's really heard of this band, but it's a band called BTS. They're like going to be the next big thing." And I was like, "Oh, really?" It's like, "Yeah, I've just cut loads for one of their projects." And I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy."
They're like the biggest group like on the planet right now. It's crazy.
Exactly. So yeah, that's how I kind of, connected the dots with having that first experience in the studio and going from there.
That's amazing. And then the first song you actually released was A Little More, and that pretty much went directly on top 40, right? Like on the
Yeah,
iTunes chart.
I
Like
know.
why'd you
Wow.
choose A Little More? And then tell me about like seeing that. That must have been pretty validating, right? You're like, oh, I guess I am doing this right.
Yeah, that was crazy because I mean at the time I knew that pop music was thriving, but I wanted to, coming from the world of makeup and being known for being, I guess, more in that industry, I wanted to show people that I could sing, and also I wanted to show, I wanted to just spread a really important message, which I guess I want to do through all of my songs. But at the time, I had been sucked into this Instagram world, and I realized that everyone else had as well. We're comparing ourselves, we're, being really self-critical and harsh. And A Little More is about giving yourself a little bit more love, a little bit more faith, and just believing in yourself, and knowing that you can get through anything as well, and that you're not alone. And the kind of, quite a soulful ballad with a little bit of a pop edge, I guess, but
Mm-hmm.
I just really wanted to release that. And through playing my music to other people, that everyone just caught on to that and was like, I just get such a good feeling and vibe about that song. And I was like, well, I'm definitely going to release that as my debut. And yeah, and then it was received really well. It went into the charts. Obviously I was nervous because I already had an audience at that point and a platform, and I was really hoping that they would receive it well, and that it could be a really gorgeous beginning of this music journey. And it was, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
it was amazing to then go on to performing it at different gigs and tours and events as well. It was amazing that the brands that I'd worked with in the makeup industry, huge brands, were then asking me to perform at their big events,
Wow.
which was really incredible. Yeah.
That's
Um,
awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Was it we kind of answered it, but I mean, was it, you have this huge, following on Instagram, and you're very successful in the world, makeup and fashion. And then, but you've always been doing music. And then I wouldn't, people might assume like, oh, now she just wants to do music, but it's not even like that. I mean, it was totally the opposite, right? Was
yeah.
it, and then you're going to be super vulnerable and put a song out to the world that you wrote. And now you
Yeah.
have to like hope that all your fans like it, right? And I mean, that must have been pretty scary.
Yeah, it was actually. It was. It is every time. Every time I put out a single. To be honest, I get nervous putting out any kind of content. Sometimes a YouTube video, I'll be like, oh, I hope it goes well. But especially when it's music, because it's so like at the core of my heart. And yeah, I was getting a lot of messages, people panicking, saying, does that mean you're not doing makeup anymore? Does that mean that, you're going to give it all up and change your Instagram? And it's like, well, no, it's all a part of me. I've,
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of been trying to thread the music through when I can to show them that it's coming. And now it's here. The two worlds kind of finally made sense to me. I just needed to show my audience that it made sense. So then when they saw me partnering with brands and obviously being an ambassador, showing the looks that I'd create with their makeup, but whilst I'm on tour promoting my single, like they were like, wow, that's exactly what you should be doing. Or if I
Mm-hmm.
was I had this amazing opportunity with Maybelline, who I've worked with for the past few years, and I was the face of one of their big campaigns on TV alongside a few amazing artists as well. We all had different qualities. So there was a DJ, and I was the singer and makeup lover, and then we had a supermodel mum, which is Jordan Dunn, and it was
Wow.
really amazing. And they asked me to write the song for their advert as well. So then I was like, wow, so I'm now a brand that I've kind of built a relationship with in the makeup world from my
Hmm.
tutorials and the Instagram makeup thing has now recognized me as a music artist and almost wants to partner with me in that aspect too. So marrying the two together, and it meant that my audience could really see my vision and how it made sense to me as an artist. That's, I guess, trying to break the boundaries and not just be like funneled into one lane.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
that's
that's
really
amazing. So
important.
they allowed you to write the song. You get to sing your own original song for
Yeah,
Maybelline.
yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah,
huge. That they like, l- were willing to back that instead of be like, no, you have to sing this song that everybody already knows.
yeah. Well, I did. Yeah, I did write the song specifically for them, but
But that's still
it was
cool.
still my song. Yeah. So
Hmm.
so it was an incredible opportunity. Yeah, I'd love to do
That's
more like that. Yeah.
that's really cool. The next song you put out was called Solo. Tell me about that song.
Yeah. So that is the song. That is the
Oh,
song.
that was the Maybelline song. Okay,
That's
well,
the
there
Maybelline
you
song.
go.
I wrote that specifically for their advert, and that was solo. Yeah, so we put that out.
Wow,
Yeah, it was
that's
really,
rad.
really amazing moment.
I'll have to listen to it again, and now with that mindset, because I when I listened to it, I didn't think about Maybelline makeup, but now I
Yeah,
will.
I know. Yeah, it's kind of about obviously, being your own boss, doing it your own way, and I guess that's what makeup is all about as well. So, yeah, you can kind of apply it to life, you can apply it to makeup, you can apply it to being a girl boss. It's like, it's an anthem. Um,
Hmm.
so which is also what not playing is about as well, I
Right,
guess.
and I was gonna say,
But
not playing is like that's at least online, that's your biggest streaming
yeah,
song.
that
That's
is that
really
was
awesome. So that tell me about the success of that one.
yeah, that was last year. So just before the craziness, I think I actually released it the day before lockdown.
Oh wow,
Everyone locked down, listening, dancing in their living rooms.
yeah,
But
sure.
yeah, so that song came about through, well, I just really wanted to have another girl boss anthem as well through all the business I've been doing throughout the years. The amount of people that turn around and say to me, "Oh, do you think you're going to be taken seriously if you've got pink hair and you're rocking up in like a blue suit, pink hair, and crazy makeup to a business meeting?" And I'm like, "Well, why not? It's me. Like, doesn't
Right.
make me any less of a businesswoman." Or people saying, "Oh, to be taken seriously, you have to be a bit less glam." It's like, absolutely not. Like, I can be glam, I can still do business, and I can still party if I want to, and that doesn't take away from anything that I can achieve in life. And I just wanted to represent all the girls that felt like they'd been perhaps judged for what they look like and not taken seriously. And yeah, it's just a bit of a fun girl gang anthem. Again, I loved writing about women empowerment, and then also to the point where we could, well, for anyone, empowerment for everyone, but at the
Mhm.
same time it's like a little bit light-hearted and we can just enjoy life. And that was an incredible moment for me, because not playing has definitely kind of cut through a little bit further, and people really loved that one because it's a bop. You can dance to it a bit more, you
Yeah.
can just on replay. And yeah, it performed really well, and it's still doing really well actually. So
Yeah, it's
um
like almost a million plays on Spotify
yeah, oh
alone.
yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
hope that
crazy.
hopefully we'll get there soon. But yeah, I'm so pleased with it. Yeah.
So amazing. Well, speaking of lockdown, you said you put that out right before lockdown. Was there like a big release rollout? Were you hoping to tour or anything? How did coronavirus and this whole lockdown affect
Yeah.
your music?
Well, luckily, I just maybe a few weeks before filmed the music video, and there was
Oh,
talk
that's good.
about everything, getting a little bit more serious with the virus. And I was like, oh no, what does this even mean? And we did have performances planned and obviously press. I actually had an amazing opportunity that was with a makeup brand again,
Hmm.
a really huge one that I was going to be performing at a big event with, like a really amazing another artist as well. And it would have been an incredible moment. But yeah, we had to obviously change everything and adapt it all. But
Hmm.
it just meant that I had to just be at home doing more TikToks, I guess.
The app everybody downloaded like right when lockdown started, right?
I know.
How that blew up. How crazy.
It's mental, yeah. So
Oh
crazy.
my. Well, okay. Speaking of, lockdown happened, and I want to talk to you now about your brand new song, "Boys Do Cry." And
Yeah.
with that song, was that something that you wrote and recorded during lockdown, or was it something you had already had in the bag prior to everything shutting down?
Yeah, I already had it from the year before, um, from a few experiences, and it was weird because we knew that we wanted to release it, and we were toying whether to release that instead of not playing. But it turns
Mhm.
out that we released not playing, and I'm really glad that we made that decision. Especially because now I feel like after the year that we had, it's even more valuable, and the message just really does kind of spread even further and touch
Mhm.
people a lot more. And it's just kind of come at the right time for everyone, and it's definitely what I needed as a form of therapy as well, because I said to everyone, I was like, I wasn't even really a crier until 2020. I felt
Right.
like the whole world came tumbling down on me at one point, and then I fell pregnant, and I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on? But, which obviously I'm super blessed for, and I wouldn't change a thing. But can't lie, these surprises come at you, and you're like, how am I going to navigate through this? And
Mhm.
Boys Do Cry comes from personal experience as well, because I feel like, especially being with my partner for I think nearly 12 years now. I've been with my husband, which is
Mhm.
crazy. Um, and yeah, seeing him, obviously, well, he bottles up his emotions. I kind of let them out, but I don't cry, but I do express them very passionately. um and obviously seeing how the past year has affected us, and him as a new dad and me as a new mum, and us in lockdown, and then still juggling our careers and everything, it almost came to a point where I was like, I need to get this song out because it just touches me so much through what we've gone through over the past year. And then speaking to, my fans and followers, I've realized that they've gone through similar things as well, being at home, with your partner 24/7 as well, especially if we don't show our emotions and break down those barriers, like nothing, we won't thrive and succeed. We'll just be absolutely just in a turmoil in our own mind. And yeah, it's really important to obviously talk about how you feel. And because there's such a stigma around men not talking about their emotions, I felt like it was a good angle to come from for anyone, any gender that holds a lot of pride against kind of breaking down those barriers to really express how you feel.
Mhm.
And yeah, and what I say is like, you need to feel to be able to heal. So hopefully this is the song that can kind of, I want people to listen to it and feel like they're not alone, and feel like, oh my gosh, yeah, I've realized lots of people have gone through things where you feel almost ashamed to cry, or afraid to tell people that you're feeling hurt and alone, but you're not.
Mhm.
So yeah, I obviously released that, and then we went into another lockdown. So
Yeah.
I seem to have a good knack of timing my singles every time we go into another lockdown. But I mean, it's been pretty constant over the past year, so it was inevitable. But yeah, I'm really, really grateful. It's doing well. People are receiving it well, and have said that they've, had a lot of comfort through listening to it and enjoyed it, because it is, you can dance to it as well. You
Right.
can
Yeah. It's a
feel good.
upbeat
Yeah,
song. It's
I
not
want you
like
to
it's
feel,
super
yeah.
depressing or anything.
Exactly. I want you to feel reassured, not alone, and happy. But at the same time, if you want to cry and just feel like, yeah, this makes me feel so many feels, then do it.
That's cool. Yeah, and I mean, especially with, like you said, the state of the world. I mean, people are losing loved ones every day. And,
Exactly.
obviously, people are losing jobs, and there's so much insecurity right now. It's across the board. I mean, everybody can relate to the song, and you did a video as well for the song, and you're very pregnant during the video, correct?
Yeah. I was actually shooting the artwork and press shots for the song, and we were like, well, we probably should do this before you give birth. And I was like, yeah, actually, because I guess afterwards it's an unexpected period. You never know what you're gonna face
Mm-hmm.
during birth. It's very unexpected. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, to be quite honest. But I was up for shooting the artwork. I was 9 months pregnant, and I think I gave birth like a week later.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
which is crazy. But I had to almost, for the continuity factor, knowing that I was going to release it in the new year, I was trying to not look pregnant,
Look.
hiding my bump. Like, to be honest, when I stood straight on, I didn't really look pregnant because it was all out front, my bump.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like an optical illusion. But when people saw the video, the behind the scenes, and you know that, I guess it's my version of a music video as well.
Mhm.
They're shocked. They're like, "Oh my goodness, didn't realise." So yeah, it was quite special, to be honest, shooting
Yeah.
it at
I
that time.
I love the video you did too of you know, the progress of your belly getting bigger, where you like walk
Yeah.
out and then, you know, and then you, but it was like the same shot, and as the video goes on, you get bigger and bigger. I
Yeah,
love
like
that.
walking in 1 month and then walking in a few months, and like it was, the change is drastic. But yeah, I look back at that and I feel like, oh, you know, I feel like I've not necessarily bounced back. I'm getting back. I'm clawing it back. But I look at that video, I'm like, nah, I've got a lot of work to do.
Nah. Well, that's really cool. I love that you did that, and it's really cool that you do let everybody into your life. I mean, your fans and everything, with everything you do. I think that's super amazing. And you were
Oh,
doing that before this whole lockdown. I always say that like the one benefit of this whole thing is that fans of these artists get to, you know, of you or whoever, get to
yeah.
see like a behind the curtain look at your life. I mean, you're
True.
in your room, or you know, you've got your cat around, and I just think it's so cool to like, nobody like 3 years ago, if somebody's like, I'm gonna do an interview with you and you're gonna be sitting in your room, people would be like,
Yeah.
yeah, right. You know.
So right, it does really give, it kind of connects you on another level to people that are interested in your life,
Hmm.
because because obviously normally our lives would seem like we're flying to a different country every other week, and it's
Hmm.
very unattainable and unrealistic, like lifestyle that no one can really relate to, or these amazing events. And you know, it's obviously our jobs to,
Hmm.
well, in the influencing industry, people go to events every other week, and it'd be a very lavish, you know, crazy PR stunt, I guess.
Sure.
And you know, would go to different countries to celebrate a launch of a product or something. But you're so right, now it's almost like everyone's feet are on the ground and everyone is just, you know,
Doing the same thing,
yeah.
right?
Sometimes I look at some people, I'm like, oh, I'm really interested, because I didn't expect your front room to look like that.
Right, yeah. When they first did like that
Like,
iHeart thing, like I don't know if they did like that iHeart like at home concert. I don't know if you saw this, but
yeah,
they were like cutting to different, you know, people, and like the guy from Green Day is like in his living room. Like I was like, this is pretty rad. Like,
yeah.
as you know, as crazy as the world is and as scary as it is, like, I mean,
Mm,
it's cool to be able to see inside these people's houses. And I mean, I thought it was really,
it
you know,
is
like
really
you said, it
cool.
has a different connection with people, and you know, and the artists you look up to. I think that's really cool.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, it's cool.
Well, Cece, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I've had such a great time talking
Oh,
to you.
oh
I
well,
have,
thank you, honestly.
yeah, I have one more question before I let you go. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Oh, I would say put yourself out there. One thing I didn't stop doing was just trying to, was writing, obviously, and just always trying to network and connect with people, um, and believe in yourself. Don't ever feel like it's too late as well, because you know, it took a good 13 years before my songs came out that I was writing. So yeah, just be patient and put yourself out there. Never stop believing.